Hey all, this is Tim up top with just a little bit of housekeeping. I want to talk about our schedule now that we are officially released. I hope you enjoyed our first 3 episodes, including our bonus episode with our Gwen interview. I think that was a lot of fun. We are going to try to keep up a schedule of releasing every other Friday from now on. So please check back and add us to your podcast subscriptions. Also, we're really excited for everybody to get involved in the conversations. We have our subreddit at reddit.com/r/firetakes, where you can comment on all of the stories that we've talked about, and let's get a conversation going there. And if you have anything you want us to look at, you can send it to firetakespod@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you, and here's our episode. Welcome to another episode of Fire Takes. I'm here with Gwen.
Hello.
All right. We are just back from FinCon. We had a really good time. Atlanta was awesome. Yeah. So many people. What were your takes on FinCon, Gwen?
Well, this was my first FinCon in 5 years. So this was FinCon number 5 for me, getting back in it after a little breakaway, and I realized just how much I had missed FinCon and talking to our friends and hanging out with everybody and just kind of living a fun life and learning some cool, neat things.
Yeah, it was great. I got to see some friends that I knew from Economy already, but also met a lot of people that I hadn't met before that, were clearly close to you and you had hung out with in the previous 4 FinCons you've been to. So it was great to meet a lot of new people. It was super exciting to talk about the podcast. This is the first podcast that will be released not in our initial clump. We kind of debuted the podcast at FinCon, got some really encouraging feedback. It was great to talk to people about the podcast, what their thoughts were on it. So that was great.
I would just like to point out that everybody who has emailed me or commented on something or, reached out to me in some way on social media saying, "Hey, Gwen, we've missed you on the podcast since Fire Drill ended. Are you going to start a new one?" The answer is yes. Welcome to our new podcast.
Here we are.
Here we are. I heard you. I'm getting back into it. It's just, there's kind of a lot going on right now.
Kind of a lot going on right now. Right. I mean, do you want any takes on the Eras Tour while we're here?
Oh, I mean, we could. We did also just get back from the Eras Tour in Indianapolis. We were at night 2, and it was our second time seeing the Eras show. We also got to go see Tay Tay at Kansas City night 1 last year.
Oh, that was a great time, great weekend, and we're back at it.
All right. Well, What is our first story today?
Okay, we got a good first story here. How to split finances when one is fired and one isn't firing. My partner is now lean fired with $35,000 of income per year in a high cost of living area. I'm not currently interested in FIRE. We've been together for almost 10 years. We've never been interested in formal marriage, but we did just move in together and we're trying to sort out finances in areas that now require splitting, plus life ahead where my salaried income is higher than his investment income. I obviously wish we'd finished our financial discussions together prior to moving in together, but sometimes life happens. I'm afraid. My question is, does the FIRE community have any advice for me on how to develop an equitable financial plan with him for the areas we need to split, rent and furniture? I've been super supportive of his FIRE plan all these years, but now I'm struggling with his choice some more. For the whole time I've dated him, I was making around $40,000, so we barely noticed a difference to his $35,000. Now I'm making $80K, and it's not clear what will happen to my income from here. Might go up a lot, or might stay around there. Out of haste, we split our current rent unevenly. I pay 20% more than him, but I'm struggling with the idea that I'm paying more rent than him and working full-time while he's living an ultra-flexible lifestyle. I'm also struggling with the idea that he will have more leverage over any future shared financial decisions since he can decline at any time to split a prospective cost with me, but I can't force him to spend money he doesn't want to spend. Finally, I'm struggling with the idea that he actually has tremendously more savings than me, but I'm spending more. And if I want to increase our standard of living, I will need to spend more and more to accommodate him. We are searching for a sense of equity. Anytime I suggest specific responsibilities with specific monetary costs, I can estimate for them. Example, him using his time to deep clean. Or start talking economically about a deal. He bristles. He says he wants to do things out of love and care and not based on economics. But I'm struggling because it is economics. There is a specific extra number of dollars I'm now spending each month for what feels like subsidizing his job-free lifestyle. Does this all leave us with any room? How do couples navigate financial equity when one partner is fired and one is not doing fire? Is it just about me radically accepting that his budget is his budget, or have others invented creative solutions?
That is...
It's a pickle.
It is a conundrum.
We know a lot of people who have fired and retired early, never run into this one, though.
Yep.
It's problematic. With them not being married, everyone we know who's successfully fired has done it as a partnership. Or, I'm sorry, there are single people, but every couple who's fired has done it as a partnership, right?
Let me think. I know a lot of people. Yeah, I think everybody in a partnership situation is officially married.
Right. That's tough it's tough to have a roommate that you're in love with. That is
paradox.
Such right. Okay, sure. It's tough to have a roommate that you're in love with, period. Additionally, it's tough when you have financial inequalities like this. Like, this is an extreme one.
Yeah. And I really think that, effectively, she is subsidizing his lean fire lifestyle.
Right.
And
he's bum fire.
Someone in the comments said he's financially dependent, retired early. I think I agree with that one too.
Yeah, because that's not even wife fire. Like I've we know people who are wife fire, but
like that's okay because
it's different.
It's ours together.
Right. That's a partnership.
Yeah, that's a you and me thing, not just I have mine already and now. You know what? I do know of one couple that was in a situation like this, and I remember hearing this, and I didn't understand how they were making it work because she had retired early. They didn't have any finances in common. He spent every penny possible, and she was retired.
Yeah.
But I think she wasn't necessarily lean fire, which is, I think, the real crux of the issue. Because if her partner had fired with an income of $100,000 a year, this isn't a problem. But it's a conflict because he had all these assumptions baked in about only spending $35,000. Right. And that's not a whole lot of money.
It's not a lot of money.
In a high cost of living area, especially when you change up your entire lifestyle and move in with your partner.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have any ages, but the feel of this is that they're still young, like 30s, maybe 40s even. That's young. I mean, I assume if he's taken $35K out, he made almost $1 million. He quit short of $1 million, which is great, but you're really taking your partner down with you.
Yeah. She's got $80K now, and there's a lot more that you can do with life when you have $80,000 coming in as opposed to $40,000.
One way we could think about this, right, is that's a little closer to home. If you listen to episode 0, where I interviewed Gwen, she had a plan at one point to lean fire out at 35. And we looked at her savings, and she's right around that savings point. How could we make that work? Say you came to me and you're like, hey, I really want to contribute $25,000 a year to the household and let's go, right? I'm going to quit my job. Even with us being married, that feels really hard for us to work out, right?
Well, and so that's about $3,000 a month after taxes. which is what the OP said that he has. My share of our finances is what, 1,800?
If you take all of your personal expenses out.
Yeah, if I
But
take
it's
all my
more-
personal expenses out and everything, based on our incomes at the moment,
Yeah.
right? We said that I would pay
Yeah,
X percentage of our expenses based on the amount that I bring in because you earn a little
Right.
bit more than me. So theoretically, we could probably make that work. But I think the real crux of the issue is that it doesn't feel like her partner is contributing to the household in other ways.
Right.
So if he, specific monetary costs that they can estimate, like him using his time to deep clean, he gets upset, which says that he's not doing that.
Right.
He's not deep cleaning. If I stayed home and just lived off of savings, you bet your bippies that I would be contributing in other ways, right? I'm defraying the amount of mental overhead that comes with running a household.
Yeah.
I'm getting the garbage out. I'm emptying the dishwasher. I'm going grocery shopping, cooking meals and running errands and picking things up and like whatever I could do for you to make it easier because you have to work 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it feels more like her partner just kind of wants to do his own thing and not really
Right.
contribute more in other ways other than money.
Well, maybe that's one way they could go about this. We've talked a lot about how the lean fired partner could give more. But what if OP gave less, i.e., she started living on $35,000 of her $80,000 income a year and started throwing all of the rest of that money into savings. She said that she recently was making around 40. So maybe they just get rid of whatever lifestyle creep that they've gathered up. Now they're sharing a household. Maybe they should be able to come back down to that. That's one way that at least OP and her partner could attack this is just stop basically saying, hey, you're contributing $35K, me too.
I mean, well, I don't know how realistic that is for a high cost of living area, though.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, she's paying 20% more than him for rent because she wanted a place that was a little bit nicer. And a little bit nicer to her meant has a dishwasher.
Right.
So we're like, the problem with Lean Fi is that you just have no flexibility, no give whatsoever. And you are locked in at your choices forever. Mm-hmm. That's why I gave up Lean Fi, is because I realized that was unrealistic. And if I was living a budgeted lifestyle that I thought I was going to make, I would be stuck at basically poverty wages for the rest of my life. I could go earn more money a year working at Panda Express than my original amount that I had set.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed you this weekend fawning over the income levels at Panda Express. So I didn't
Listen.
realize where your head was.
If I could work at Panda Express as a manager and earn almost the same amount of money that I'm making at my job, like, maybe that's... I would never go back into retail
Yeah.
because
You'd have to-
I would work a hell of a lot harder for my money
Yeah.
at Panda Express than I do at my job. But
You got customers and employees that you got to deal with.
oh no, people.
Lots of people. Okay. So there are a couple of edits here from OP. One, he's really been encouraging me to see this as a position of strength. For instance, if you lived alone, you would have bought X piece of furniture on your own, but now you have me subsidizing some of your purchase. I'm having trouble getting behind that logic, though. It feels a little twisted to me. It's not wrong, but you're an asshole.
Yeah. You're not wrong, but he might be an asshole.
Edit 2. He's also said that he is more willing to bend on one-time expenses, that he has some time to strategize around. He has ways to pick up ways to pick up a small amount of money with foresight versus a recurring expense like rent, which he's really hard to go back on. This makes sense to me from a fire perspective. Okay, sure.
Fair enough, I guess.
And then a step towards resolution. I like this. Thanks for the massive number of replies. For any future readers with related situations, we've agreed to explore the following line of logic, inspired by a few posts here. His 35,000 fire number is a baseline lifestyle was set by him independently, long before he asked me to live together. He was fully accepting the reality of life with roommates, and I was totally content to live alone. But he strongly preferred a life where we cohabitate, and I was open to this. What we have never done is sit down and attempt to agree on a shared baseline lifestyle to split 50-50, where we collectively sort things into baseline needs for a satisfactory shared standard of living versus things that clearly exceeded baseline for one of us. It may fail, but we're going to be exploring drafting a new budget that we both buy into as our baseline. This would likely increase his actual fire number given he wants to live with me. We want to try to put some numbers to roughly how much his actual fire number would increase and how much additional working or financial rejigging would be required. I feel super icky about the idea of him going back to work to pay for the things he doesn't care much about, but we don't yet know how much more money we're really talking about here. That will determine how viable this strategy is. The thing he does care about is living with me, so there's a lot of layers of debate, compromise to consider. Any cost beyond our newly agreed upon baseline would be assumed to be fully covered by me. I mean, do we just change the name of this whole podcast to People Should Talk to Each Other?
Have you thought about communicating with your partner?
This sounds like a path forward, right? Get on the same page, make a budget. Nothing cosmic there in her solution. It's less extreme than the solution I provided, I would say.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Believe it or not, jail. So, okay. Yeah, talk about it. Like, if you are in your life are having problems in your relationship that you think are money problems, talk about it. They're communication problems. Yep. 9 times out of 10, they're communication problems in your relationships.
And if OP feels taken advantage of, then shoves that very deep down, then she's going to start to resent her partner, and it's not great.
Yeah, no, it's not great.
Sorry. I am just really distracted right now by our cat. Bartholomew on the stairs found like a cricket or something, and he is having the time of his life on our stairs over there.
Get it. All right.
He like pushed it under the stair tread. You can just see one antenna. All right, I'm back.
All right, we're back. We're back.
I'm not distracted anymore.
Okay.
Take number 2.
Yeah. I've got another story here. It's a short read, maybe an interesting conversation. This is from the Financial Independence subreddit. If you decided to spend an entire paycheck on others, what would you do? Hi, Fire Friends. Got a fun one today. During 2 paycheck months, I typically live off 1 paycheck and save the other. I'm in the boring middle part of my fire journey, and since November is a 3 paycheck month for me, I want to make things a little less boring and then blow an entire $4,000 paycheck on others. How would you do it? Donate it all to one charity, a nonprofit, donate small pieces to many, gift to family and friends, or something different? All ideas welcome. Thank you in advance for any advice.
This is a fun one. Oh, I love this.
Yeah, I knew you would love this. I picked this 100% for you.
So, I come from, let's say, lesser means, and a lot of my friends and some of my family are not at the same spot that I am in. And sometimes I feel really guilty about that. What did I do to deserve this? I have so much more than them. I have life so much easier. I'm less stressed about money. And I feel obligated sometimes to maybe spread the largesse. So in the past, what I've done is sometimes it's anonymous gifts. You know, I'm looking on Reddit and I see someone's like, hey, we don't have any baby formula and all the diaper banks are out. You know, is there anything that we can do? And I'll be like, hey, can I send you like $100? Because $100 is nothing. Well, is very little to me right now. And that's life-changing money for them right now, right? Sometimes I just like to share the wealth and do that with complete strangers. Sometimes through the internet. I help some guy get his title back from a title loan place so he could stop living illegally in a storage unit. I help somebody pay their electric bill. You know, just like one-offs, randoms here and there whenever I feel particularly flush that I don't necessarily have money that I need, like on a 3-paycheck month. Other times, like I'll take my friends out for dinner and they're like, hey, I'll pay. And I'm like, nope, this is my gift to you. Like, I wanted to go out with you. I'm taking you out. Or, we'll go to a concert, or we'll do something that maybe they normally wouldn't get to do because that's a little bit beyond their budget at the moment. That makes me feel really good. And it does kind of spice things up and make things a little less boring to do that.
Yeah, that's my big take, is that I would really like the almost like guerrilla gifting aspect. So I would take that $4,000 and I would give $100 tip to a waitress at a diner. I would just throw a few $100 at various problems, or at a waitress that really impressed me, like she's doing really good work, and 20% doesn't do it, right?
Yeah. Or we go to our new favorite restaurant a lot of times and become really good tippers and make friends with our new favorite food people.
Yeah. We don't have a good first name basis restaurant that we're regulars at here in
at our hometown. No, we do not.
But yeah, no, I think that's the way to give away something like this $4,000. Do it guerrilla style. Do it to make impacts on people. Writing that $4,000 check to your local zoo or whatever, it won't have quite the feel of the guerrilla style giving, just because you have all of those little moments, right? That you get that endorphin rush of like, bam, I did a thing. Whereas whatever charity, it wouldn't feel as good, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well light that money on fire. Because those random one-off gifts to a nonprofit like that, yeah, sure, they're helpful, but what's really better is if you took that $4,000 and you split that up monthly and you said, I'm going to give you this monthly, so then they can build it into their budget. Yeah, no, I really like knowing that I made a difference, if only for a little bit at one-off time,
Yeah. So this next one comes from R Fire. It is unexpected windfall. Can we retire? This is wife, female 64, and me, male 53. We're not expecting to be able to retire soon at all. I was looking at maybe retiring at 62 or in about 10 years. But this has suddenly changed because we received an unsolicited offer on 20 acres of raw land we own outright. The opening offer is for $2 million, and they'll take care of all the fees, etc. I worked for a museum for 10 years at a low pay and did not accumulate anything for retirement. Currently, I have a good job, $165,000 a year for the University of Texas, have worked there for 11 years now, which means I am vested with a pension, which also means I keep my health insurance when I retire. Earliest retirement date for that pension is in about 10 years, 2034. Annual annuity would be around $110,000 or a little higher if I'm lucky, but this is if I keep working until age 62. If I quit today at age 62, the earliest I can draw retirement, my annual annuity would be about $45,000 a year and about $8,000 more for each year I kept working. My Social Security at age 67 is projected to be $32.49 or $42.46 per month if I wait until 70. My biggest concern is my wife, who is significantly older than me, 64 as I've mentioned. She has run her own little business her whole life, which has been about break even. 0 retirement accounts, Ross, 401k, zip. The properties we own were mostly through luck and through an inheritance. Her Social Security is very low, but she can opt to take 50% of what I would get. So $1,500 a month seems like a safe assumption. So now to the good stuff. The 20 acres, I think we can quite easily stretch to an offer of $2.5 million. The original purchase price is $180,000, and it's located in Texas. We own a rental that right now returns a little more than it cost us, mortgage, tax, and upkeep. We have $171,000 of equity in it. Our own home is mortgaged $300,000 at less than 3% with a $1,300 monthly payment, $10,000 annual tax, and we have about $233,000 in equity. The current $165,000 a year gives us a very nice and acceptable living standard. What's the best way forward? Can we retire? And that's a lot of numbers, and I want your first take on it, and then I think I'm going to ruin your life.
So my immediate answer was, hell yeah, take the answer and then ride off into the sunset and live your happy life. Go for it. But actually looking at all the numbers, and they're living off $165,000 a year right now.
That's the big one.
They can't. No. Mm-mm.
This guy does not mention any savings.
Nope.
He worked for 10 years and didn't save a dime. Right now, they spend every dollar that comes into their house.
Yep.
So they have a lot going for them
Yeah.
with this income, $2 million income, plus this pension that's coming down, even if it was only $45,000 a year. If he wanted to, I mean, he's posting in fire, so you would think he wanted to be a little bit more frugal. But if he wants to live off $165,000 a year,
He needs more money.
more money.
I mean, and we're not necessarily taking into account the fact that 2.5, let's say they get 2.5 million for it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be their today money to live off of until they can get to the future money
Right,
at age 62.
right. And then then that would be supplemental.
And then it would be subsidized by his annuity at about $45,000.
mean-
Then in 5 years after that, he could get an extra $3,200 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be,
It's another 36.
so that's another $36,000.
So, well, that is one thing to consider. So, say they do get $2 million. Let's use his $2.5 million, and then we'll waive away all the taxes and everything. We'll just say he has $2 million cash. Now he's got to only get through 10 years, so that's $200K. Like maybe that gets him through. Maybe they do live off $165,000 a year, and they just burn through that $2 million, right?
Yeah.
And then that gets them to their tomorrow money. They got a little extra to kind of juice it, because that is going to, if he just lives off of that pension, which is the low level, the 45K, I don't know, maybe, but it's so weird to think about someone that's 53, his wife's 64.
Yeah.
And like, oh, you just got $2 million? Hell, if I got $2 million right now, I would retire.
Right. But we have money already set aside for retirement.
Well, I think even more importantly, we've shown the ability to save money, right? To live within our means, right?
Yeah.
And that's really what makes me worried about this guy, is that they've never or lived off less than what they brought in. That could be scary, right? He gets $2 million and then he spends
Right. Yeah.
$2 million, right? Because that's what they do with the money.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just my big concern here. And then the other thing is his wife, right? He mentions she's run her own little business her whole life, which has always been at about a break even.
Which also, can we point out that seems a little condescending? Oh, she just has this cute
Yeah.
little side business that breaks even. I'm projecting, and that's
Yeah,
what I
right.
feel like he's saying.
My guess is maybe it doesn't break even, and this is her hobby, and it is actually a drain. And if she stopped doing it, I've seen it. People run small businesses at a loss because they love it, right?
Right.
She wouldn't be the first person to do that.
So I would say maybe, given that his wife is 64, if they sold this property for $2.5 million, I would say at the bare minimum, she could stop working.
Right. Well, she could stop working today. She doesn't make any money.
Right. So if she doesn't want to do that,
Right. But
She doesn't
she
have to.
probably does. Like, why would she do it? Why would she have done it for her whole life unless she loves it?
yeah,
Right.
that's true.
She's
Labor
not
of
making
love
any
and all
money.
that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he should stop working for
Yeah.
at least another couple of years.
It makes me nervous, despite there's so many ways you could make the numbers work. I'm just concerned about their ability to make the numbers work.
True. Yeah. I mean, the man has worked for 21 years.
I mean, top comment is probably, but you make close to 200K and still can't save anything. You can retire, but you need to learn to control your expenses. So top comment is right along with our thinking here.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is a sticky wicket that they've got to come to terms with more things than the $2 million that they just brought in.
Yeah. And then there's a lot more comments on whether or not the University of Texas system does actually
solvent.
provide medical insurance
Ooh,
for
yeah.
life, because he says he has it, but somebody's like, you might have to work until you're 61 or 62 to be able to retire with that post-retirement.
Right. Yeah, because that's probably another $3,000 a month that they're
So
not
if they
thinking
really
about.
want to make sure that that's taken care of, then he's got to work no matter how much money he's got in the bank, which I can empathize with because I got to work until I'm 55 in order to keep my medical benefits. And that's 21 more years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
that?
I feel him for that.
How about that?
It's probably equally unlikely for both of us to make it to our respective time.
All right. Well, I think those were 3 great stories. Thank you for all your takes, Gwen. It was a lot of fun
They were.
chatting with him.
Very fire.
Yeah. Oh, so fire. Wow.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in this week, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thanks again for listening. This has been the Fire Takes Podcast. This is an entertainment podcast, and Gwen and I are not financial planners. You can reach us at firetakespod@gmail.com or check us out at reddit.com/r/firetakes. See more from Gwen at fierymillennials.com. Thanks all.